In a strange room in the east wing of Collinwood, Barnabas Collins discovered the existence of another level of time. The people he saw in the room were all people he knew, and yet they were leading completely different lives. Through some mystifying warp in time, Barnabas became part of this other existence, only to discover that he had placed himself in great danger. For a man named William Loomis discovered Barnabas' darkest secret. And now Barnabas Collins lies trapped in a chained coffin, and he has no way of knowing what strange and terrifying things are happening in this world of parallel time.
Are you here, Angelique? Or are you someplace else? I want to know. I have to know.
Bruno! I didn't even think that you were capable of something like this.
Well, I couldn't think of a better way of proving the truth.
Quentin, this is monstrous.
Get away from that vault, Bruno.
I'm going through with this. I'm convinced that grave is empty.
He's insane.
Now get out of here, before I report you to the police.
I don't think you're going to do that. It just might reopen a lot of the past, if you know what I mean.
What is he talking about?
He's trying to threaten me. It's something he's quite good at.
I don't understand.
Bruno, I want you off this estate and out of Collinsport. Now, I know you won't leave voluntarily, so I'm willing to make a deal with you. I'll give you $25,000 in cash, Bruno, for the deed to the cottage.
I don't want your money. But since you're in the mood to make a deal, let me open the vault. If I'm wrong and her body's there, I'll give you the deed to the cottage. Go away and never come back.
No, I will not have my sister's grave defiled.
You want to get rid of me? Well, I'm giving you your chance.
I'll find a way to get rid of you. It may take time, but I'll find it.
Then the answer is no.
The answer is no. Now get out. And Bruno, I'm going to have the entrance of this mausoleum sealed. And if I find it's been tampered with in any way, I will go to the police. I'm sorry you've been subjected to this.
No, it wasn't your fault.
That man's a parasite.
I don't want to stay here now. After what's happened. I'd prefer to come back some other time.
Yes, I understand. Come, I'll take you back to Collinwood.
Just a couple of more minutes and I'd have had that grave open.
You really believe that Angelique's body wouldn't have been there?
I'm certain of it!
Well, that's why I am a scientist, Bruno, and that you are not. I only believe things which I am certain that I can see. But, Bruno, sometimes I wish I had your daring. You are an endless source of wonder to me.
Look, that woman at Collinwood is Angelique. I'm certain of it. In fact, I'd stake everything I own on it.
You don't own very much. The risk would be minimal.
You think I'm crazy, huh?
Bruno, the notion of bringing the dead back to life is a very fascinating one. Of course, the majority of people do not believe it because this notion has no precedence. Now, I think that you believe this woman is Angelique because psychologically you want to believe it. Of course, I was not involved with her in quite the same way.
Cyrus! Will you just put your notes away? Look, I want you to help me. You're a scientist. There must be some way that we can prove...
Bruno, I told you I had a lot of work to do when you came in.
How long are you going to just stay cooped up in your own little tiny world?
Your world is the one that is small and narrow, Bruno. Because there is no one in it, really, except you. However, my world is open to expansion, and expand it shall, very soon now.
Oh, man, I'm not going to get any help from you, I can see that. And I'm going to go mad if I don't find out about Angelique tonight.
Life's certainly been trying for you since I arrived. I'm sorry.
I've told you before, I don't want you blaming yourself.
Has there been any news at all from your wife?
None.
Oh, if you feel there's anything I can do.
Oh, you're very kind. It's just something I'll have to work out for myself.
Yes, of course. Well, good night, Quentin.
Good night. I'll be here if you need me.
Good evening, Miss Stewart.
How did you get in?
The door was open.
Well, no, I'm sure I locked it. Oh, Cyrus will be very upset with me. Excuse me, please.
I take it he isn't here. Is there any way I could reach him?
No. He said he had business to do, and he wouldn't be home till late. He asked me to close the lab for him.
I see. Miss Stewart, why would the doctor be upset to learn that you left the door open upstairs?
His work is very dear to him. He considers this his private sanctuary. He is very dedicated to this experiment.
Yes. I gathered as much from my conversation with him.
Well, I guess that about finishes it. I'm sorry I have to close up now.
When you see him tomorrow, would you ask him to call me? I'll be at my hotel.
Of course. Good night, Mr. Gladstone.
After you.
Can you dare to come here again?
And I don't intend to leave. Not until you tell me why you're torturing me this way.
I don't believe I have ever met anyone quite like you.
Those were the first words you spoke to me 2 years ago.
Now listen to me.
No! You listen to me. Now, if you have any regard at all for a man's sanity.
I'm beginning to have my doubts about yours.
Why are you doing this to me? Pretending that you're not really who you are. Now, is it because you no longer care for me? Are you trying to spare my feelings? Because if it's so, it is impossible, you know. If you're never to be a part of my life again, then life itself is going to become pointless to me. If that's got to be it, then you've got to tell me why. That's all I want from you now.
I think I'm beginning to feel a little sorry for you.
Look, I don't want you or anyone else feeling sorry for me.
You really give me no choice. Anger, frustration, becoming outraged means nothing to you. And anyone who would mold his life around the belief that a loved one can return from the grave only deserves to be pitied.
Look, do you know why I believe that? Because you made me believe it.
We are never made to do anything.
You were something unique in my experience. You gave me my reason for being. Now, if you're going to tell me that you're going to reject me and why, then I'll believe you again. But it's got to be that way. Because I love you more than I've ever loved you.
I will tell you one thing, and only one thing, and I will tell it to you for the last time. I am not Angelique.
I'll never accept that!
Then you must leave here and never try to see me again.
No.
If necessary, I will use force to get you out of here.
Then use it.
All right, I will. I'm sorry to disturb you. I realize you've been through enough for one night.
What's wrong?
That man, Bruno, he's back.
He's what?
He's here. He's here now in my room.
Well, it's reassuring at least to hear you refer to it as your room.
I told you that you were forbidden to enter this house.
Quentin, you know what I think? I think that it's possible that she fooled us all at that seance and didn't die at all.
You're stark raving mad.
Oh, no. I'm anything but mad, and you know that.
You know, if you go on ranting and raving about people returning from the grave, people are going to begin wondering about you, Bruno.
Well, let them wonder. I know what I know. Now, I'm surprised that you don't realize who she really is. But then, you never really did know her as well as I did you?
I'm warning you. Now get out of here before I have you carried out!
Well, the master of Collinwood has spoken. All right. I'll retire to my cozy little cottage and live to fight another day.
You're already living on borrowed time.
You know, that sounds suspiciously like a threat.
Interpret it any way you like. Just get out and stay out.
Well, we'll meet again. We always do. Good night, my dear.
With each passing day, I draw steadily closer, morally and intellectually, to the inescapable truth that man is not truly one, but truly two, the one being good and the other evil. Now I am prepared to prove that each of these elements can be housed in separate identities.
In separate identities.
All right. Come out where I can see you.
I must admit I find this a trifle embarrassing.
Well, Mr. Gladstone, I can't say I'm surprised. My instincts told me you couldn't be trusted.
I would my instincts were as good. Your young lady told me that you wouldn't be back until late, and I believed her.
Mm-hmm. That's what she said. Now, how long have you been here?
Long enough to discover that I have contributed to a most intriguing experiment.
You have contributed nothing. You were paid for that ingredient you delivered.
You really must forgive me, Dr. Longworth. I just couldn't contain my curiosity.
Well, has your curiosity been satisfied now?
I regret to say that it hasn't. Your handwriting leaves something to be desired. However, I understand a bit more of your theory now. I, too, share in your interest in the elevation of the fellow man. I could be of enormous help to you.
I don't think we have anything in common, Mr. Gladstone. Now, will you please go? I have a great deal of work to do today.
I wish you'd think it over for a while. I'll be around for a few days. I think that you have embarked on a very lonely and perhaps dangerous course. You may find yourself in need of a friend along the way.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Good night.
I brought you some tea.
Thank you.
I hope we're finally rid of that man Bruno.
Oh, you can be sure we haven't.
Oh, isn't there any way in the world you can force him off your property?
Not according to my lawyer.
I've been meaning to ask you something, Quentin, about something he said while he was here. He mentioned a seance. Do you recall?
Yes.
I was wondering if it had anything to do with my sister's death. Quentin, have I brought up a painful memory?
No, you have a perfect right to inquire about anything concerning your sister.
But would you rather not discuss it?
If you don't mind.
No, of course I don't mind.
My theory is ready to be put to the test. I am aware of the potential power of the drug I have created and of the danger I face. Perhaps I am even risking death, but I am not afraid.
Oh, Sabrina, what are you doing here at this hour?
I was about to ask you the same question.
Oh.
I saw the light on. I came to see if something was wrong.
No. I just came back to do some work tonight.
Ah, you're tired. Won't you ever think of taking a rest?
Well, yes, sir. Perhaps I will. The experiment is almost to an end.
It would be nice to see more of you.
Well, now, I did warn you about me, didn't I?
I know. You're very dedicated to your work. And I'm glad it's almost over. Maybe then you'll tell me about it.
If it's successful, I will. Now, look, you run along. I've got a lot more work to do before I retire for the night.
I don't mind playing second fiddle to your work. You're such a gentle man. That's what I love most about you. Good night.
Good night, Sabrina.
Oh, you don't have to come up with me. I'll lock the door.